you for joining us for our word today. This morning, as we're continuing through the Bible, we're going to look at Zechariah chapter number 7. As we've said before, the book of Zechariah was an Old Testament minor prophet. Zechariah was sent by God back to Jerusalem to help rebuild and reestablish the temple and reestablish the worship of Israel. And specifically, Zechariah was there to get Israel back into a place of fellowship and worship with God. And God gives him these visions about what's going to happen. At the beginning of chapter 7, he talks about how Israel has been obeying the Lord in their rituals and their sacrifices and their prayers. They've been doing everything that they're supposed to be doing to look good, but their heart's not in it. Look what it says in verse number 8. And the word of the Lord came to Zechariah, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother, and oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart, but you have refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear. So what God is telling Israel through Zechariah is they were doing all the right things. They were offering the sacrifices. They were going to the rituals and having the feasts, and they were praying and doing what they were supposed to be doing outwardly, but their heart was still hard to God. Their heart was not with God because they were oppressing the poor. They were oppressing widows. They were mistreating foreigners and strangers in the land, refugees in the land. They were mistreating them. They were devising evil against each other. And what God is saying is, you can look the part. You can do all the right actions. You know, you can go to church. You can sing the songs. You can pray in groups. You can give money to the church. But if you're not loving your neighbor, if you're not helping take care of the poor and the widows and the orphans, then you're really not walking with God. You're really not having a relationship with God, because that is God's heart. God's heart is for us to love Him with everything we have and love our neighbors as ourselves, to treat people the way we want to be treated. And there's a lot of opportunities for us to do that in our world. Like right now, we're living in Roanoke. Next week, we're expecting thousands of refugees from Afghanistan who are fleeing the persecution there to arrive in our city. There's a lot we can do. We can't ignore them. We can complain that they're here, wonder why our government's allowing it. We can do everything we can to make it hard for them, or we can love them. We can show them the love of Christ. We can help them get settled. We can help them, find places to work and find jobs and find places to live. And we can do everything we can to be a blessing to them. And in doing so, show them the love of Christ and open up a dialogue to share the gospel with them. But too many believers don't do that. We're fine with sending money to Afghanistan for someone to go, but we don't want to do anything for them ourselves. We want to live in our own little bubble, do our own little thing, take care of our house and our family, and go to church and sing songs and give money and look the part, but not actually live the part. Zechariah is telling us if we're not living the gospel, then we're not truly walking with God. Thanks so much for joining us for our word of the day. Thanks so much for staying with us. We're going to be back here tomorrow as we continue through the scriptures. Have a blessed day.